We're making it rain here on this edition of Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us. Coming up on today's show, I have 5 potential moves that your Seattle Seahawks could make to save on some cap space. That way they could pursue some big-time players this offseason, whether it be in free agency, via trade, or to be able to sign their draft picks. We'll go over what John Schneider should do with my 5-step plan coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, a little survey for all the 12s out there. I want to know, are you a Seahawk fan from the great state of Washington? If you are, go ahead and like today's video. If not, if you're one of our 12s from anywhere throughout this great country, throughout this great land, or across the world, comment and let us know where you are watching this edition of Seahawks Today from, and let us know. We'll get started with today's show. Let's begin with Leonard Williams. Leonard Williams set to hit free agency here in the next couple of weeks. And for me, it all starts with Leonard Williams of extending him. Not a franchise tag. He's already been franchise tagged twice in his career, so a third franchise tag would put him at over $30 million, and that just doesn't make financial sense for the Seahawks. They need to lock him up long-term and get a deal done. And for me, it's real simple. It comes down to 2 things. You gave up a lot to pull off that Leonard Williams trade, a 2nd-round pick and a 5th-round pick. You got to stay in the bed you made, essentially, right? You can't just simply walk away from what the hand you've already dealt yourself in. And on top of that, if we look back at the second half of 2023 for the Seahawks defense, who was the best player on this defense? It was Leonard Williams. You can't just let him walk out the door when he's playing at a high level, when he earned the right to stay. Spotrac is valuing his money at about a 3-year, $50.16 million deal. And so if you extend him and backload that money, then you got some flexibility to use him and spend on other positions, right? And the thing I like about Leonard Williams, I think that when we look back at the 2023 season, this team dealt with a lot of injuries, right? But Leonard Williams stayed a constant. He was consistent and consistently available. He became the first player in the history of the National Football League, all the way dating back to 1930, to play 18 games in the season. Remember, he didn't get a bye week when he got traded from the New York Football Giants, and still finished this year with 62 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, and 5.5 sacks. I want Leonard Williams on my team. I want him here long term. To me, this is an easy decision for John Schneider. Who do you guys think? What do you think of this situation? Should the Seahawks bring back Leonard Williams? Or pin comment today. Y for yes, N for no. Way in the comment section. Tell us what you think. Another extension candidate for the Seahawks is Jordyn Brooks. And similar to Leonard Williams, the franchise tag doesn't make sense for Jordyn Brooks because it would be way above his actual market value of the money that he deserves, what he would get on the open market, right? And you look at Jordyn Brooks, there were some big question marks entering 2023 of coming off that ACL injury. What would his role be with the return of Bobby Wagner? And he answered the call, answered the bell, and then some throughout the year with a tremendous recovery, back on the football field within 8 months of the torn ACL, had what I think was the best season of his NFL career, had a career high of 4.5 sacks in 2023. I'm looking at a contract for him, 4 years, $45.35 million. And similar to Leonard Williams, the same thing. You can kind of backload the contract a bit to open up that money to be able to spend on other things. Remember, the Seahawks didn't pick up his 5th-year option, but we've heard John Schneider say that they are fans of Jordyn Brooks. They're committed to him. They want to see him around long term. This past season, Jordyn Brooks had 111 tackles, 8 tackles for loss. We mentioned 4.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble. The year prior, when he was the green dot, when he was leading the way for the Seahawks defense, had 161 tackles with a sack and 1 forced fumble. You go back to 2021, 184 tackles, 10 tackles for loss. Yes, the tackle numbers have gone down year by year, but that doesn't tell the full story of the player that Jordyn Brooks has become over the last few seasons there. More to come here on Seahawks Today in just a moment, but first, I want to tell you about today's sponsor. We are sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. You choose 2 or more players in any given category, get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy points, maybe it's yardage or rebounds or mix and match different leagues, whatever it may be, the NFL, NBA, NHL, golf, NASCAR, and more. Looking ahead to the start of the MLB season in 2024, I got Julio Rodriguez of your Seattle Mariners this season to have more than 168.5 hits. Also got Grayson Rodriguez of the Baltimore Orioles to have more than 180.5 strikeouts. If both those hit, let's say we put $20 down, we're making $60 on Prize Picks. Play along with me, prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS for a $100 deposit match. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, proud partner of Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Check them out. Tell them that Tyler Jones sent you. You'll be glad you did. Next on our list, you knew this was coming, cutting Jamal Adams. And for me, this is one where I sit here and I say to myself, what could have been? You hate that it had to come to this point, but the Seahawks basically have no choice at this juncture. Adams has become such a liability for the Seattle Seahawks. And I know that this was not Mike Macdonald's fault, obviously. This came from the prior administration, the Pete Carroll years and all that. But as we transition to this new era of Seahawks football, Mike Macdonald does not deserve to have to put up with the shenanigans of Jamal Adams and the liability that he is, the money that he commands, and the problems on and off the field and all that. I don't want to put that on Mike Macdonald. He shouldn't have to worry about that. You look at Jamal Adams, and he is a shell of his former self. A 3-time Pro Bowler all the way back to 2020, but the last 2 seasons, he's played in just 10 games. And if you cut him post-June 1, and remember, you can cut him now but still designate it for later on, you're looking at saving close to $17 million if you do this move. It's something where it's pretty pricey, right? But you get more bad than good out of Jamal Adams. We saw the Seahawks defense improve when Jamal Adams wasn't on the field last year. You look at the numbers, and the truth of the matter is simply this, folks. Jamal Adams is a one-trick pony. All he can do is go after the quarterback. Had a really good pass rush grade according to PFF, 85.5, but he's just simply ass in coverage. His run defense is a joke at 52.8. His overall grade at 55. I have no need whatsoever for Jamal Adams on my team. In fact, he just needs to get the hell out of here already. So please, cut Jamal Adams. Don't make Mike Macdonald have to deal with this guy. For all that is holy, please, it's time. It is time, folks. Another veteran here on Seahawks Today. Let's talk offense now, Tyler Lockett. Now, one consistent theme that we've talked about here on Seahawks Today over the last few weeks when it comes to Tyler Lockett is we here at Chat Sports are not saying at all that the Seahawks should release Tyler Lockett, contrary to popular belief. We love Tyler Lockett around here. But the truth of the matter, the Seahawks simply cannot afford to pay him the money that he's owed. That has to be reworked. And if you're Tyler Lockett, think about this. Nobody, and I mean nobody in the NFL, is going to be paying him $16.3 million like he's owed by the Seattle Seahawks. So if you're Tyler Lockett and you're the Seahawks here, you need to come to terms to find a way to restructure this deal for Tyler Lockett to take a respectable pay cut of some sorts to stay around. Make it worthwhile for him to stay, but then at the same time, too, he also has to be given a respectable offer that's still in the ballpark for him compared to what other teams could potentially give him. So that's what I'm looking at. Tyler Lockett, we want you to stay. I think it'd be great to have him on this team, but you can't pay him $16.3 million. That's got to be reworked. Because think about this. Tyler Lockett's in his 30s now, and we're already starting to see the downward spiral from here. Last year was the first time in several seasons where he didn't have 1,000 receiving yards, 79 catches, 894 yards, 5 touchdowns. It was a solid year, Nobody is saying Tyler Lockett isn't worth having around, but he sure as heck isn't worth having around for over $16 million. I'm just not paying that money. The Seahawks can't afford that money with the other moves they have to make. So let's ask you. We are against the idea of cutting. We want to restructure Tyler Lockett. You guys just want to cut bait and say goodbye to Tyler Lockett altogether? Let me know. C for cut, K for keep. Weigh in the comment section. Tell us what you think. Next on our list is cutting Quandre Diggs. And, you know, this is one, it's a tough call. You hate to see it, but it's got to be done. Let's be real. Quandre had a bad year in 2023. And the way that this Seahawks team is headed, gearing up for their future and building a young team, Quandre Diggs, the direction he's going and the direction the Seahawks are building with the youth movement are in two different areas here. He does not fit on the Seahawks timeline. And the Seahawks cannot pay him all that money to have another lackluster year again. In fact, you're looking at potentially cutting him and saving $11 million. That's a lot of money that could be spent elsewhere if you move on from him. Quandre's been awesome for the Seahawks over the years. 3-time Pro Bowler, been consistently available, hasn't missed a game since 2020. But then I look back at what we saw last year. Quandre Diggs was bad, folks. I mean, you look at the grades, what PFF gave him. Overall grade of 55, run defense grade 55, pass rush grade 58, coverage grade 55.4. It wasn't good. And I don't have any reason to think that it's going to get any better. It's the old Belichick philosophy, right? Where you rather get rid of a guy a year too early than a year too late. If you're the Seattle Seahawks, with that money that's sitting that you could save, I think it's time. So, I hate to say it, but it is. Who is a player the Seahawks should cut? We've gone through a few of them so far. What do you guys think? Weigh in the comments section. Give me a name that you would like to see Seattle move on from. So to recap our potential cap moves for what John Schneider should do to clear up some money to be able to go on a little spending spree this offseason so we can make it rain. Extend Leonard Williams, extend Jordyn Brooks, cut Jamal Adams, restructure Tyler Lockett. Repeat, I did not say cut. I said restructure. And then cut Quandre Diggs. Appreciate you joining us here on this edition of Seahawks Today. If you enjoyed today's show, like the video, we'd certainly appreciate it. We'll see you next time right here on the channel.